Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Quantum Leap Futures Morning Leap session for Wednesday, June the 21st. It is officially the first day of summer. Not sure if I'm happy about that or not. Not happy because we're going into the summer months in terms of trading, but I am happy that we are coming into the summer months. My name is Doug McKay. I am the founder of Quantum Leap Futures. Each morning we get together in these live go-to sessions to take a look at the market, macro to micro, take a look at the structure of the market, and then we drill down to our trade levels, our targets, and our main hypotheses for the day. Yes, we do create more than one hypothesis. We do this because we want to have a plan that will fit the market. Then we wait for the market to open up, show us what it's trying to do, and then we execute the plan which best serves what the market is going to do. Therefore, we do not have to think about what we're going to do in the heat of the battle. We can just simply execute the plan that is fitting the market. This is a subscription room. If you're interested in checking out, please send me an email at quantumleapfutures@gmail.com. There's no website. There's no blog. This is not a commercial venture. We do everything live here in the go-to, and then we do live trading and analysis of the trading day. Please read through the disclaimer. Nobody at Quantum Leap is a certified trading advisor. We are retail traders operating within a self-organized learning environment. Past performance is not indicative of future results, and any trades that you see in Quantum Leap are for education purposes only. Please trade your own due diligence, your own trade plan, and your own risk metrics. Okay, so yesterday we had a plan 1A and a plan 1B, or a hypo 1A and a hypo 1B. And I said I gave them equal weight because of the fact that we're back in that balance, and we had pretty much a weak high and a weak low. And our hypo 1A was a open auction in range, a move up somewhere between the naked VPOC, naked close, and a false breakout, and then we were looking for responsive sellers to step in, rotate us down into the first target, which was the 42, and then down into the 38, chop between the 42 and the 38, and then get a late day probe down to that 35.50 as the extended target, and the naked close at 35 and a quarter. And that's exactly what we got. We didn't really get the move up. We just sort of went sideways, drifting sideways slowly down to test the low of the day. The buyers tried to come back in, took it back up into the midpoint, chopped around there, took forever, okay, and then it finally sold off. I was in this short from 42 and a quarter all afternoon, and I finally closed it out at 36 at the end of the day, and then we rotated up into the close. Overnight, we basically have stayed below the open, so we are 100% net short on the Globex, but we've got a fairly tight range. We've got a 38 to a 28, so actually it's not that tight for Globex. 9.25 point range here on the Globex, but very boxy and just chopping inside of that micro composite balance area. So we have broken the one-time framing up yesterday. You can see that we broke the one-time framing up with the move down. We moved overnight down to the 28. Didn't quite get to the 27 and a quarter, which is the microcomposite VPOC of this large balance area that we're in right now. The 2-day microcomposite VPOC is up here at 47, and we're way below that. We're inside the wick of yesterday, and we're chopping around this 35 and a quarter. And I'm going to be watching to see if we get a microcomposite VPOC shift up from the 27 and a quarter to the 35 if we're continuing to trade around here, and then wait to see once the shift happens if we stay above it. We stay above it, I'm looking for us to rotate back up towards that 40 and then push through and come up into the 2-day balance around the 41.75, and then possibly try to push into the 47. If we can't get above the 37 area, that's the value area high of the micro composite, then I expect more chop in here and another push down to test this 31.50 and the overnight low at 28.75, and possibly come back down here to 27. So the key numbers to watch right now is the 35.25, how we trade around that. If we get above 37, are they going to go for a run to 40? And then 40 will be our over underline above, and a push up into 42 and 44 and 47. Below, if we just chop around in this 35, we want to see how we handle this 31. We still have this gap zone that we tested in overnight. It's still valid gap until we test it during the RTH. So I'd be looking for them to come down. If we can't get above 37.25, come down, test into this gap, close the gap, and test the 31.50 and take out the overnight low and move down to 27.25. Key line in the sand still all the way down here at 16.50. So coming back and chopping around here is not saying that the bears are taking control. It's just saying that we're stuck in this balance still, and just chopping around. So taking a look at the news for the day, again, very light news day. We have existing homes, and we've got crude inventory, and that's about it. So there's not a lot. The big day, of course, will be tomorrow with core retail and unemployment, and then Friday we've got it's just a really light news week this week. So no real catalyst to move the market very far outside of this balance. Now, we are getting compression, okay? And I want to show this to you. I talked about this yesterday morning, and I'm going to talk about it again. Is our daily ATR is running at under 15, which means that we are really compressed, okay? Going into the summer months, that's going to be pretty normal, but right now it is compression below 15. It's at 14.21. But the most important thing is you can see that we have, okay, OTF participation that's happening in the Globex. In other words, that the larger time frame players are playing in the Globex as well as in the RTH session, and that usually means that they're building a position, okay, that is going to eventually take us out of balance, and they're doing it, I call it stealthily, by doing a lot of volume during the Globex session and then maintaining that volume. You can see yesterday, they were pretty active as well yesterday, especially on these down moves, and that's making me think that we could test lower before we go higher. But I try not to get too much of a bias in play. So taking our overnight session numbers over, our overnight high is 38. Our overnight low is 28.75. Based on the overnight low, our 28.75 low plus the 14.21 gives us a target up here at 43 as our daily upside ATR target. I've been working on charts all morning trying to fix problems, so some of this is not set up. Usually I have these set up for you. And then based on the overnight low of 38, overnight high of 38, our downside daily ATR target is 23.79. 23.79. Okay, and we could get a VPOC shift but right now it is at 33. Just have to watch for that. It's pretty boxy. There is an LVN right here at 35.50. We did have an LVN at 36 from yesterday, so I'm going to use that area as a trade level. And then I'm going to use the 38, the value area low, and the overnight high. And then I'm going to use the other LVN at 40, and the value area high, and of course the breakout and the takeout of the, I'm going to be long if we're above 40 anyway, but I'm going to put a trade level, at the range high. But really, you want to take the, you want to be in, or if you're going to do any add-on, take it from the break of the value area into the naked VPOC and naked close. I mean, it's only, one tick above. In fact, you know what? It's useless even having that there because, you don't want to execute a trade there. You do want to scale there, but it's going to be hard to execute for one tick if you're trying to look for that. And then 50-50. Into that 51 target, 51.50, and the takeout of this all-time high. So these are the levels to the upside. To the downside, we've got 34 low from yesterday. This is a weaker low. Targeting the first target is going to be that 30.25. Well, first target is going to be a naked close at 31.50, but the bigger target is going to be 30.25. That was the micro composite VPOC at one point in time in this balance. And then, of course, the big target below is going to be the overnight low at 28.75 and this this 27.25. And we have range capabilities. So coming down here is not the end of the world. Okay, it's not the market falling over. It's just normal rotation within the balance and down to a key level at the 27.25 microcomposite VPOC. Below that, we've got the 22.50, just below the ATR downside target, the naked VPOC at 19, and then our key line in the sand still down here at the 1650. Below 1650, then I get my bear hat on for a bigger move to test into the 2300s. Oh, I didn't spell that right or type that right. Okay, so let's look at hypotheses. We're trading right now 37. We're coming up against the value area high. We're inside of range, just outside of value from yesterday. I'm looking for an open auction in range. I'm looking for a push up into the 41 to 43 area, maybe even the 44. 45 area, but then I'm looking for responsive sellers to step in and rotate us down through targeting the main first target, which is this CHVN at 35.25. I'm going to be watching down here for the VPOC shift, the composite VPOC shift to come up as one of my clues that buyers are coming in. But if we don't hold there, we chop around there, I'm looking to push through down into the 34 and break the range low and come down into the 30 area, chop around here, taking out that naked close at 31 and pushing down and closing somewhere down here between the 27 and the 30. That is my hypo 1. And it is pretty much balanced again against my hypo 2, so you can call them hypo 1A and 1B. But for today, we'll just call it hypo 2. Hypo 2 is an open auction, in range, out of balance, or out of value. They push down, okay, coming down, pushing down through to the 28, testing that 27, finding responsive buyers down here, and then rotating us back up into the 35, chopping around 35 and getting a late day probe and closing somewhere up here in the 41 to 42 area. That's my hypo 2. Hypo 3 is a open test drive. Take out the or test the midpoint or the VPOC, but don't get any higher, and find strong initiative sellers. Rotate it down into the 27, chop around in the 27, and then push down and close somewhere down here in the 2250 to 1650 area, and come down and test the whole other side of this value and this, this balance area that we are in. Hypo 4 is an open drive or an open test drive up into the 42 area, chop around here, and then push up into the all-time high and make new all-time high, going into the 50s and closing up towards new, or up at new all-time highs. There is an alternative, and the alternative is an inside day failure to break out of the range, or a false breakout to the downside, but basically chopping between the 35 and the 41 and having an inside day. And that is a fairly decent probability. So that's why I bring it in. You could actually even substitute hypo 4 with my alternative as a more likely probability than a move to new all-time highs. But anytime we're trading that close to all-time highs, it's got to be something that you think about and plan about. Going over to the gold. Gold continues to show weakness. We are now $57 down and not finding our buyers. We're looking at, I was thinking they were starting to base around that 43, 46, and we're still trading the 43, but we did test down to the 41.70. We're chopping and testing this key CLVN, and if we break that, I'm looking for continuation down and a real push, and we're going to end up with a 70 to 80 point downward move in gold. If they can hold the 42s now, then I'm looking for them to rotate back up into the 46, 47. I'm not looking for a large up move today, but if we do get above the 48.90, look for them to push through into that 56.90 and back up into balance. I'm waiting patiently, taking some shots to the upside, but I'm not getting any runners. But I want to catch this next rotation up because I think it's going to be a $20 plus move. It's just not there yet, and we have to wait and let the market show us. Oh, great! We're making new making new overnight highs right now, so things are going to adjust a bit. So it looks like they are going to make this this rotation up first with the break above that microcomposite value area high at 37.25. Anyway, that's going to complete our pre-market session. Just going to have to adjust the levels. We're likely going to get a make and break again. This is something that we've been doing almost every day for the last week or so, where we are putting in overnight highs or overnight lows as we go into the RTH session and completing that Globex stat almost immediately once we open on the RTH. So likely to happen again today, and they're probably going to continue to push this this overnight high up as we seem to have found buyers, and they're staying on. You can see that the OTF has been very active on this upward push here. Almost 3 times the average period volume on this last bar. Anyway, as always, trade well, trade safe, and we will catch you on the flip side.